former acting director of national intelligence, our senior advisor for foreign policy and national security. And Rick, I want to go back to a tweet you wrote yesterday because the news initially, of course, made this all about Russia. And there's sources inside the U.S. government, whether it was the Pentagon or other agencies, the Biden administration. It was Russia. Russia did this. Russia's responsible. And then it's 21-year-old Jack Tashir from the Massachusetts Air National Guard who gets arrested yesterday.
Yeah, look, I think it's really important right now that we slow down and we get the facts. We have a problem with our national media right now rushing to judgment. As you point out, originally Reuters said that they had 3 U.S. officials, and all 3 U.S. officials said that this cyber attack came from Russia. Reuters ran with that. An editor at Reuters presumably knows who those 3 U.S. officials are. I presume that they are real U.S. officials, or you have to make a conclusion that somehow the Reuters reporter is totally lying. So I say that we slow down a little bit, because remember, John Kirby is the one who told us that we successfully targeted terrorists in Afghanistan. All of the media trumpeted this big Biden moment of getting the terrorists in Afghanistan for killing Americans, only to find out that 7 people were children, the rest were civilians. We didn't get the terrorists.
Yeah,
and so we had all of the media jumping to a black and white, yes, no, good versus evil narrative. And we need to slow down and we need to see. I'm troubled by any classified information being leaked for partisan political purposes. That's terrible. But there is now an underlying accusation that the U.S. government has been lying to us about the Ukraine war. That's a serious charge. There is a process. We have 100 senators. This individual or any individual who feels like the U.S. government is lying can go to a senator, can present classified information to that senator to show some sort of problem. There is a process. This process was not followed by this individual, and that's very troubling. But we need to now just get the facts before we're racing to another judgment that or a conclusion that turns out to be wrong.
Yeah, that's interesting, Rick, that you point out. So if you were someone who had not just the right level of clearance, like this individual may have had, and the way it was explained to us at like an IT level, it was more so that you could create the database. You really weren't even supposed to be accessing to view the documents themselves, but you needed that level of clearance to do that. Because a lot of people initially, Rick, would just scratch their head, like, how did a 21-year-old who had just joined an Air National Guard a year and a half ago get rise to this level of clearance? And so maybe it makes sense because of the IT work, but already violated the rules and the law just by looking at that data, and then second, then by openly sharing it. But you brought something up interesting that people may not know about with this information, is that the right people who have access to classified information, if they believe they are reading something that a U.S. senator or someone needs to know, that there's a process for that?
There is a process for being a whistleblower, and it's very known. If you're in the intelligence community, you know exactly what that process is. The process does not include single-handedly taking the information and putting it on a gaming site in order for you to feel like you're the man. And so I feel very strongly that this individual did the wrong thing, but may have some information that now we need to explore in a different setting. If the U.S. government has been lying to us about Ukraine, that is a devastating and serious accusation. Let's get to the bottom of it. I will finish with this, though. I know firsthand that we have caught individuals within the IC taking classified information and leaking it for partisan purposes. And those individuals were deemed not prosecutable. The DOJ decided not to prosecute certain crimes. When I would see the situation, I'd say it's a clear violation. They leaked classified information to a liberal NGO think tank in order to embarrass Donald Trump. That individual should be prosecuted. and DOJ took a pass. I think taking a pass at the lower level leakings creates the momentum for higher leaks, for more serious leaks to happen, because when you don't prosecute the clear violations of the law that are happening and people see that others are getting a pass, they may take the risk.
You know, Rick, I think that as a follow too, you've talked a lot about overclassification. One thing we've learned through this saga so far is that people might not have been as familiar with is the amount of people that some of this classified information have, how many people can have access to this, including not inside just our country, but in this case, there was some of this that was marked, I guess, Five Eyes, which is some of our countries that we unite with, like Australia and places like that, in relation to China, and that this information is also some of it shared with them, and then you've got to trust their internal structures to make sure the classified information stays classified. I think that was kind of an eye-opener for people too, is how far some of this information goes outside of even the control of the United States.
Yeah, well, the Five Eyes is a trusted organization, and that doesn't seem to be the problem here. Certainly, we need to constantly be looking at the procedures that we have in place. We have to be able to trust allies and share information, but I do think you're exactly right. The overclassification and the number of people that have access to certain information is too much. It needs to be dialed back, and that is directly the responsibility of Avril Haines in this situation. She should immediately figure out why so many people are having access to this information, what procedures weren't followed, and then also come clean, very transparent on what the information that has been shared means in terms of government accountability.
Well, I think what you said too, Rick, is that these reporters who are getting really misleading information from what they said were government sources, and we believe, like you said, that these are the kind of reporters that would have those government sources, and they were told the Russia narrative again. It's like that's the fallback for everything involving Democrats now. It's just blame it on Russia and nothing else to see here.
Yeah, how are they going to say it's not?
Rick, as always, we appreciate you joining us and being part of our team at the ACLJ.